and both players are rather creative. I think back to one of the cooler PvPs I've seen recently, where it was Zoun, or sorry, it was Creator versus Hero. This was during GSL Season 1. Not, sorry, in the time period, not actually in the GSL, it was an EPT Cup, where it was 2,000 atmospheres. Zoun goes down 2 bases, but he realizes that his opponent, that Hero is going to go, or sorry, not Zoun, Creator, but he realizes that Hero is going to go, and just trying to mass charge that arc on him, because that makes sense, right? When you have that much money, you just flood money. And so he gets a 7-minute Glaive Adepts time. He just pumps out Glaive Adepts, and the Zealots, they charge in, they just die. And he's able to punch on through and take that economic disadvantage and turn it into a game victory. Really cool move. So, again, Creator, decently creative, as it were. And by the way, if you're curious about that series, that is on my YouTube. And I mean, Zoun is just, he for a while, he was defining Protoss metas. If you're curious how players have been doing thus far in this season, Zoun is 9-8. And of course, Creator is actually 9-6. He's not having quite the, generally, Creator's had this incredible team league record. Ooh, exciting. I'm going to get 47ness is working on an animated emote for me. He told me he's going to have some sketches for me tomorrow. I know it's a little bit outdated because I don't know how many cleaning bots there are on the new map pool, on the Valencia map pool, but we're going to have an animated emote of the cleaning bot exploding. So I think that is incredibly useful. You know, you can't kill him in game, but at least you can kill him in Twitch chat. That's how that works. Okay, so for right now, I mean, this is pretty standard. The chaos of the single gate expand, where you say, I'm building all this shenanigans, I'm going to cancel it last second. Actually, does Zoun let that complete? No, he doesn't. Okay, there we go. But of course, actually, he's gone double gate expand to the low ground. This is atypical for Blackbird. Normally, you just go single gate expand, you get a Stargate, you kind of get locked into this Phoenix idea, but Zoun actually with some pretty effective pressure, he's going to be able to snipe a Stalker. Oh no, he's just going for the probe. He says, you don't get that natural, so yes, he does not get the Stalker. That's annoying. But he does get the probe. He denies the Nexus even further, so he's going to have a significant, and I mean a significant income lead. But kind of Proto, to answer your question from a while ago, we have those censored. It's 163 and 173 out of 200 because those numbers are the names of the publisher, or they're affiliated in some way with the publisher in China. So Blizzard has canceled that, or had not has canceled that. Blizzard has censored those so people can't represent themselves as representatives of the company and try to scam people, which I guess was a problem at some point. Man, I need a haircut. It's fine when the headset's on, but it just poofs sideways otherwise. But okay, Creator's gonna find the pylon from Zoun, and I don't know whether he had plans. I mean, he get the probe there, so maybe he had plans for something proxied, but it's certainly not gonna work out right now, as Blink is on the way. It's gonna be much faster. Only three Phoenix, actually, for Creator, though, because he understands this is a ground-based deck from Zoun, which means you don't really want to commit to Phoenix all that hard. You want to get a couple, and hey, 4 workers from the Phoenix go down. One was the probe on the north side falling when he made the pylon, or when it made the pylon. It's a robot. But you only build a couple. You get some harass. It is a wonderful force multiplier against, say, Mass Stalker versus Mass Stalker and a couple of Phoenix. You can prevent Stalkers from escaping. You can just remove DPS from the field. It does tend to be rather nice. As another probe does go down, scouting hallucinated Phoenix. You can say, okay, well, I got a good idea of your gate count. 3 gateways, 4 crater. I see you have a Stargate. Well, that's fine, but no third base is the big scout. That is going to inform a lot about how things are happening. So the question really we ask both of our players here is, do you get a third? When do you get your forge for your +1? Do you just drop a lot of gateways and try to get aggressive? Likely not. Realistically, getting any sort of 2-base blink stalker all in is just not really a thing. So third base going down pretty much at the same timing for both players. And while Zoun had a bit of an eco lead because his natural was faster, he kind of lost it because he lost 6 probes to or 5 probes to the Phoenix, and that was enough to equalize things. But now Zoun trying to take advantage of the fact that his blink timing is superior to Creator's, but not really by enough to make a difference. Blink for Creator done in 10 seconds. And away we go. Third base on the way for both sides. Yeah, I know, Marco, man, that was the real unfortunate thing, because I think realistically, Creator should have won at least one of those first 3. I mean, I think, like, looking at those games, I don't remember them as well as I did, but I remember, like, after I kind of sat and thought about it for a second, it really did feel like that should have been a 4-2 for Creator, that Rogue was able to kind of pull some shenanigans. The Game 2 build was... I don't remember what the Game 2 build was, but I remember it being brilliant. One of those things is like, okay, yeah, that's just going to kill Protoss. It's a one-off. But it did feel like that probably should have been a 4-2 victory for Creator, and unfortunately, maybe it's Creator's mindset, I don't know, maybe it's just Rogue's class, the fact that he does not lose best of 7s, although... he has lost one now. He did lose one to, I want to say, Maru in GSL season... what? GSL last year? GSL Super Tournament? I forget, but he has lost. I forget who he lost to, but he has lost offline best of 7 at this point. Crazy, it took until 2020, 2021, 2022 to make that happen, considering how long his career has been, but... Magic is only 99.9 repeating percent there. Anyways, more gateways on the way for both sides here. Templar Archives going down, charge +1, all these wonderful things. As really, we're just about even. Creator has a couple more workers, but really nothing to write home about. He's got these Phoenix, and that's something. They do represent map control. They do represent harassment through the middle of the game, and any sort of drop denial if that is necessary. But for now, Zoun, he's going to be happy in the main base. He's going to ward them off. Fourth base going down for Creator just a little bit faster. Oh, okay. Was it Zest? Was it Zest that beat Rogue? Okay. I love the mental gymnastics of people saying, well, you know, Protoss literally have not won a tournament since however many years. It's like, well, they won Super Tournament versus a Zerg. Zest beat Dark. But yeah, that's fair. For sure, drink water. There we go. Hydrate or dihydrate, my friend. Although, if you're trying to look really ripped, getting dehydrated is a... it is, if you kind of look into how that works. But anyway, Phoenix, they're going to dive in. They're going to get a lot of workers here. Zoun is not going to be happy about this. He finds himself down 13 workers, but he's now going to try to find his way on top of this fourth base. The Zealots do not have charge just yet. His do, so his army is a bit more powerful here. +1 done for both sides. +2 on the way for Creator, but not for Zoun. But this is a scary position to fight into, and again, charge is done in 10 seconds, but it's not here yet. So decent fight for Zoun to start. He's warps in a bunch more Zealots, some Archons as well, as the Phoenix looking on the backside, trying to shark around, Starks blink forward, and they're going to get, or blink backwards, and they do get a Phoenix, but the Warp Prism does lose all of its shields for right now. And now, of course, Zealot charge is done. Stalkers, again, they blink on top. The Phoenix, again, fall. It's a bit of an awkward concave set up by Zoun here, but he's got to make something happen because, again, he lost 10 workers. He found himself down 13 at one point. Now it's a little bit better. He's only down 8, rebuilding 4 at a time, but you got to make something happen here. As the last of the Phoenix, they do go down. The Warp Prism stays alive, but it's only 50% HP, and Stalkers can blink on top of that. But, you know, the crazy thing, you talk about going to 8% body fat or whatever, is the tribulations involved in like getting that super shredded look for like a photo shoot, where you get heinously dehydrated. But it makes you look vascular, so it's fine. As removes any water weight. Okay, so Zoun now holding the high ground. He can't really move low ground because of this concave that Creator has set up, but it's also really hard for Creator to move onto the high ground and deal with Zoun. Now, the thing we got to worry about, of course, is Creator's going to have +2 in just a second. Stalkers, even with +2, which they will have right now, that concave is a hard thing to fight into. So Zoun taking advantage of this. He's got his 5th base on the way, but now here comes the +2. Timing is again, enough to break Zoun from this position. Stalkers pulling forward. They knock down the Warp Prism immediately. So now there's a bit more reinforcements for Zoun than Creator, but it does not seem to be working all that well for him right now. Yeah, Creator backs up on the right side, losing all those Zealots, but he keeps his Archons, keeps his Immortals alive, and he still has Defender's advantage. He still can warp in at home. But here's where things get complicated, because there are 2 Warp Prisms on the map. There's a second one warping in Zealots, or already warped in Zealots into the main base. And the question now is, how is Creator going to react to this one? Is he going to be able to chase his opponent across the map? The answer is no. He does have to send his Stalkers back home. 4 workers go down. But really what he bought is time. It means that he's not going to lose this. It means that his 5th base, Zoun's is going to stay alive. His Disruptors are now on the way. And away we go. All right, so now Stalker blinking forward, looking for what they can. But this is not really an army that... Oh, actually, wait, sorry, the Stalker's got a Disruptor. And that is nice. This is, again, the secondary... I love this 2 Warp Prism play from Zoun. It's not something we see all that often, but if you're able to multitask for it, it gives you so much agency and so much control on the map, and so much control defensively as well. As now again, the Stalkers moving forward. Disruptor shot. Oh, Stalkers blinking forward, and they just knock it down. Do we have any more Disruptors here? Yeah, there's one. It gets a damn fine shot. Shield battery overcharge popped as well, but the upgrades are showing so much strength in this game. As now the Archons running forward. The Zealots are not yet dead for Creator, and then with all the Archons going down, that's kind of what you're looking for, and that's what makes it scary for Zoun right now. As he runs forward, he understands that his life in this game is just about dead. There's not a lot. He drinks water. He's just coming to terms with the fact that he is dead. Creator has punched through. He's knocked his slobber in game number 1. 23 workers are dead, and Zoun just thinking right now about what he's going to do in game number 2, because there's a 69 to 134 supply. Nice. GG. Creator, he takes game 1. Hey, CQ, bunch of numbers. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It works out for me too. It means I get to enjoy WTL and everything that's happening, while also not having to get up super early or sacrifice my work schedule for it. So I'm glad you enjoy it, because it works out for me too. I like it. I will not be doing it next week though, because first of all, I don't think WTL happens next week because of Valencia. I got to imagine I got to imagine WTL's not happening next week. Yeah, it's skipping Valencia. Okay. So, will not be happening next week because of Valencia. I will also be producing and 50% of the B stream for Valencia. Steadfast is the other half of that. It was looking like there was an opportunity, a chance that one of us would be invited last second, because I guess ESL needed to fill someone. And they said, hey, Bayo, can you do last second? I said, absolutely. I will move heaven and earth. There's nothing that would stop me. But they, whatever happened, they were able to fill... They were able to fill what they needed, and they were not able to fill with Phil. So it goes, but it's exciting regardless that they think, oh yeah, you know, even if they didn't, that I'm to think that I'm effectively next man up, or Steadfast and I are effectively the next men up, which is cool, because January 2021 was when I got approved to do EPT Cups. It was. My goal for 2021 was to get consistent C stream spot, like 1 a season. And by the end of it, I was pretty solidly B stream. In fact, at this point, I mean, I am B stream. So we're Steadfast and I are B stream. ESL, I don't see us. We're not going to get offered C stream anymore. It's pretty cool. And whenever I think about it, I just think about how insane it is. So thank you all for the support on that one. Yeah, you know, CQ, I feel you as well. I remember back in the days of Pro League, I was in high school at the time. And I would get up and I had we had satellite internet, which had a data cap, and it was really abysmal. The reason I got really into StarCraft was because StarCraft 2, one game is about 26 kilobytes. And first of all, like playing a MOBA on 700 milliseconds lag is kind of painful. You can't last hit. Or FPS or something. But you can kind of, if your macro is good enough, you can do it in StarCraft. But it really was 26 kilobytes a game. As we got a bit of a proxy here coming from Zoun. He tried to do that last game, didn't work. He got found out. This time, though, I think he's going to do something with it. Probe staying with the pylon is, we will see that pylon go down. Zoun trying to get a little bit aggressive there, and he does find one probe. He's going to look to get a second, and I think that's his shield battery. No, that's his opponent's shield battery going on up here, but 3 workers go down, make it 4, and 1 adept for 4 workers, absolutely worthwhile, and adept on the other side finding no value either, so absolutely, this is fantastic for Zoun right now. And what did he build on the other side of the map? I think it's actually just a pylon. I think it was just a pylon. I don't see any other structure there. But there's a second pylon going up now, and this one is going to be a little bit more aggressive. Another gateway on the way for Zoun. He is still on 1 base, by the way. This is a timing coming out for the man. With Blink halfway done, it's going to be 3-gate, 4-gate Blink timing. Oh, this adept from Crater is masterful. Not that it's going to necessarily kill the pylon. It won't. But forewarning is incredibly important right now. It looks like the adept actually is going to be able to get out anyway. So destroys the projectiles, gets out. And now, what we're going to... certainly, we're not going to see an Oracle, I don't think, out of this Stargate. It's just going to have to be for Void Rays, defensive units, as far as you can go. And Zoun, he is on 4 gateways. His blink is done in 10 seconds. And he is going to have a massive production lead. Now, you find yourself 3 or 4 Void Rays, and then you're kind of okay. But because this is 4-gate and this is blink, it hits at a slower timing. It does mean that the Void Rays, it takes a lot longer for them to hit critical mass, and it's a lot harder for them to hit critical mass. It's already the first shield battery running out of energy, and I do like this from Zoun. Notice what he's doing. He has a decent amount of Stalkers to, I believe, one shot one of his opponent's Stalkers if he shoots properly. And now he's got some Adepts on the way as well. He's going to force his opponent to make difficult decisions, is really how this works with the sentries, with the force fields. In fact, I would not be surprised to see him just blink on the high ground. Adept in there now, and there we go. It's just a warp in. Oh, that one Adept's not going to do much of anything. And now workers starting to follow Zoun. He's just going to find himself locked in a corner, targeting things down. He's got to just go control. Yeah, there we go. Into the natural. With the Stalkers here, good force fields. He's going to get one of them. Moving on forward. He's going to try to get a second. Does he get it? One more shot. No, he doesn't, but he kills another worker. 5 workers go down from that little bit of pressure, and we're going to see it happen again, I think. There's a robo on the way, main base for Zoun here. He says, maybe I can't break through. But he does get another sentry. And that is something. Okay, now the Stalker's again running forward, but shield battery means... Oh, he did get that Stalker. I was going to say shield battery means the Stalker stays alive, but with 2 Void Rays and Zealots and everything else, the Stalker count is not snowballing to the point where it's going to be able to punch through what Creator's doing. Now, I mean, good blinks backwards. Every time this happens, he doesn't lose anything, and he kills off a Zealot, kills off a Stalker, a Sentry, something like that. So good trades. And now, again, Zoun runs forward. Does not get the Zealot, but he's trying to force opportunities where the army of Creator is out of his own base, and therefore Adepts are going to be able to find their way on in. There we go. Shield Battery up on the high ground. Stalkers, they find their way on over. Again, Shield Battery keeps the Zealot alive, but it's getting low. And Creator, Twilight of his own on the way, but Creator does have a robo now. I think. No. Sorry. Zoun has the robo. Creator does not. The north-south of the production tabs are getting the main. But okay. Stalkers now again finding tremendous value. They're not really killing anything just yet, but this is a lot of pressure that Creator's dealing with. So Zoun finds himself with a bit of a worker lead. Another Stalker falls. The Adepts don't really get all that much done. But Immortals are now on the way. And Immortals, of course, they don't do much against Void Rays, but they do a lot against everything on the ground, which means the Stalkers, they can take the time to actually kill the Voids that they can't really deal with all that well. It looks like finally a Stalker dies, and the Creator's been able to punch his way out just enough to be able to actually finally deal with this proxy pylon. He's going to find some Adepts as well. Always nice. Just, again, pressure relief. You don't want these Adepts to find their way into your base. It becomes really problematic, so you kill them off beforehand, and Looks like, yeah, that adept will go down. So Zoun forced back on his side of the map, but his natural is done now. He's mining off it. 42 workers to 41. And he's got just a bit of a tech lead. That's where we are right now. He's this pressure did not end the game, but it gave him a minor lead. All right, so great trade there from the Stalkers. They're going to knock a Void Ray down. Also, folks, exciting news. I don't have a day yet, but we're going to have a pre-Valencia pylon show probably not tomorrow. It's looking like Tuesday right now. It's kind of the thing is the Stalkers trading for Stalkers, but Blink is done for Creator, and we got, I'm going to be hosting. Steadfast is agreed, and we're working on others. So, talk about all the storylines about how we're going to be missing out. We're going to be missing out on a lot of top players for Valencia, unfortunately, and how the region went, and all that other fun stuff. So, I've been pushing to make this happen for a while, but it looks like we're Cobra Venom finally has some time, so we're going to make it happen. Okay, now the Stalkers moving on forward, blinking back. But Creator does have his... I mean, it's crazy that this game opened with 4-gate blink. And it's just about equal. Just about even. Finally, though, Creator is going to finally deal with this gateway on the field. But yeah, at this point, it's okay. He deals with the gateway, but it wasn't really doing much of anything anyways. But charge is halfway done for Creator for Zoun. I think it is done. He's got a lot of Archons, and he's going to look to try to punch through, take advantage of the tech lead that he's been able to have. Because, again, by having faster blink, he's faster charge. There's more complexity to this army as well with the Immortals and the Archons, but they're kind of stuck in a bit of a position where the Archons, the Immortals can't really fight. But Creator has to give it up anyways. Fourth base on the way for both players, although I think Creator's is just a little bit faster. And now here comes Zoun marauding forward, looking for whatever he can find. His +1 is just... Oh, no, sorry. Creator's is just about... Creator's on the north side of the map, but he's on the south side of the production tab, and that is just getting to me. Creator's +1 just about done. His charge as well. So this tech timing that Zoun has been looking for is not really there, but the Archon lead is significant indeed. There's no Temple Archives just yet. So, yeah, it's Charge-led Archon versus Blink Stalker Charge-led. Let me... The composition from Zoun is much more expensive right now, so he's going to try to wedge his way into this position between the natural and the third as the Stalkers, they find themselves a nice concave, and at the very least, we should see the fourth base go down. Looks like we have Warpins on the other side. The Warp Prism in the main base of Zoun, causing chaos. 5 workers go down, forcing actually a recall on all of those Stalkers. 1 Archon does not go down. Half the army, though, of Zoun, it is forced to recall, not finding any sort of value it's looking for. 5 workers die, even if... And actually, that opens up a significant worker lead now. 59 to 48. So Creator, his fourth base, not pressured. Zoun not able to take advantage of that timing already again. +1 is done for Creator. +2 on the way. No Forge for Zoun, I don't think. So, while this was fairly even, it feels like the situation that Zoun has put himself into because of just how he's decided to attack and how he's decided to build up. It feels like he has to get something done in the next 3 minutes, probably. Before +2 is done, realistically. And he's going to find some Stalkers here blinking forward. Zealots, they just run on forward. Blink says nothing to them, but Archons are on the field now. There are ways to deal with the Zealots. It's not Charge-led Archon Immortal versus just Blink Stalkers anymore. The complexity of Creator's army has advanced to a position that is actually manageable for Creator, certainly with that +1. So now Zoun running forward. He does have a 20 army spell. Lead a couple zealots into that third base, and it's a big concave that Zoun has set up here, but most of the zealots are not really here just yet. Actually, that being said, zealots, they're not really engaging onto the Archons just yet, which is fantastic for Zoun. He found the spot where the Archons are not, and that is something. But now as the Archons, they run forward, they deal with that spot. He pulls back, and once again, sets up a big concave. Once again, he's up 30 army supply, and these Stalkers are a bit out of position here. It's a big concave for Zoun. He's going to try to make something happen right here, right now. Stalkers pulling forward, trying to knock down, well, I guess they're going to get the Void Ray eventually, but it's just everything else. And this concave is, oh, it's a cave indeed. Crater, he's in shadow, he's in woe, he's in death, because this army is falling down. He's able to punch on through, and it's a 1-1 setup here. Alpha X has a map. Team V has a map. All right, there we go. Now into game number 3, game 1 of our second series of this match. Alpha X has 1, NV has 1. And when we talk about ZVZ, we're looking at a couple things. Realistically, there are a couple breakpoints that we'd look at. Oh no, poor zombie grub. Either I guess her connecting flight got canceled or delayed or missed it or whatever, but she's stuck in YYZ. What airport is that? She's stuck in the Toronto airport for 16 hours. Yeah, no, I actually really do enjoy ZVZ, and I got distracted. But when we talk about ZVZ, we talk about a couple of breakpoints. Pull first versus not pull first. In this case, it will be hatch first for both sides, so we missed out on the aggression there, all those shenanigans. Then the next thing we look at is third base 28 supply or not. Or does someone go for a 2-base timing? That is less of a thing now than it used to be, but we still occasionally see, say, +1 roach timings. And then at 27 drones, do you stop there and do you flood a lot of lings across the map with or without a Baneley Nest? Do you get that Baneley Nest, or do you continue droning? If this was NA ZVZ, I'd say, yeah, 27 drone, 28 drone, flood lings every single time. That's just how it works. If it's European ZVZ, honestly, almost never. They respect each other too much to really go for that. So instead, they just drone up more, because it's one of those things like, if I get aggressive and you don't, and you hold, you're just ahead. And a neck and arms and legs and everything else, but you're ahead. So why would I even bother if I'm confident that you're going to hold, and if you do it, I'm going to hold? So really no point. Korean ZVZ is somewhere in the middle, where they do tend to be a little bit more aggressive. They do look to punish what their opponent looks to do a little bit more, but it's not the heinous cheese that North American ZVZ does represent. So of course, third base now on the way, right around 28 to 32 supply, which is just about standard, as lings are going to trade their lives for the cause. Both getting away on about 5 to 7 HP. But here we see some breakpoints. DRG, Baneley Nest on, well, no, we don't. Never mind. RagnaroK, Baneley Nest on the way for him as well. Keep an eye on the worker count, though. Do we see a bunch of lings? A couple right now. You get them. You always get them defensively, but really the question is how many. That's a weird wall. I mean, it will be a full wall with room for a roach or a queen to block, but normally you start from the edge and go in. It's kind of weird to just have this Evo chamber in the middle of the map, and that being that. But it looks like both players, they get a couple defensive lings, Baneley Nest on the way as well, but we're not going to be struck by any. Well, actually, RagnaroK building a couple more lings, +1 carapace on the way. So RagnaroK does have aggressive ideas in mind. It's not going to be a great big ling flood. I mean, he may look to pressure with it, but not going to be this great big ling flood of, oh, let me punch through and cancel or kill the third base. Instead, this is all going to be about roaches and lings shortly, as the roach one now does go down. And of course, the meaning behind +1 melee, or +1 range, excuse me, is a couple. First and foremost, you take 2 bane. It takes 2 banes to kill a ling. Now, of course, they're left with, I think, like 1 HP, 5 HP, and it's 1 HP. Your circlings are left with about 1 HP afterwards, but they get a little more damage. It actually is incredibly impactful if you micro properly. And of course, it also applies to lings and roaches in equal measure. So while +1 ranged is just simply better than +1. Hey, there we go. Nice Baneling, just defensive or scouting denial there from the Bane. While +1 ranged is just strictly better, lings are going to look for a run by, but they're not going to find what they're looking for. It is strictly better. It doesn't apply to everything. So this is this powerful timing that you hit where you look to try to kill your opponent, or at least do a game equalizing damage, because eventually they will have +1. They will have +1 melee or +1 range, excuse me, and that will mitigate. Well, it means roach 2-shot instead of 3-shot once again. So you have that less DPS there. As one Baneling gets a decent connection, but now here comes the pressure from RagnaroK. More and more lings are on the way. Roaches looking to follow through, and there we go. Nice Baneling connection right there. Actually, I don't think there are any more on the map right now, but roaches are out and they can target the Banelings down. So for a moment, RagnaroK, he's got to back up, and there we go. More and more roaches on the way. His lair is only just now getting started. He's droning more, and it looks like he's actually just not going to go for this. Oh, Banelings ran in on the other side. 4 workers go down as well, and actually RagnaroK's not mining on those drones either. He's got to go return them into the mineral line, and they're just not there yet. They're just not doing what they need to do just yet. All right, so now lings again, okay. I actually really like this from DRG. We have a Nidus on the way, and what better way to punish your opponent for going for this all-in that actually just didn't work whatsoever? You drop a Nidus. You say, I'm not doing anything here. I'm just gonna drop a Nidus, because especially now RagnaroK's transition out of this is gonna be for Aspire, which is out of +1 Carapace is not the most common thing. Generally, you get +1 range, and you just go for slightly better roaches. But you also have to get some damage. So I guess I like RagnaroK's idea from that perspective, as in he didn't get enough damage. So he's not going to win a symmetric game. So he's going to try to play it asymmetrically. As there we go. Nidus does drop down roaches from DRG onto the other side of the map. And he's just going to look to hit him with a 1-2 punch. So I'm assuming... I'm curious what goes in this Nidus, or what comes out of this Nidus. Is spines are getting dropped here, and there we have it. Yeah, it's just roaches in the main, roaches the third. RagnaroK does not get what he needed, and DRG takes game number 1. And in all honesty, he just makes it look easy. Makes it look damn easy. Another day in the office for the man from Busan. That would be massive, because right now FX is ahead of them in the standings. That tie him up, I forget. It would not tie them up, but it would get them a lot closer if this was a clean win for NV. If this was a regulation win. So if it didn't go to ace match, +3 points for NV would take him to 18 points. Alpha X would only have 19. Kaitza, well, we saw Kaitza dominate, so Kaitza actually is at 22 points. So Kaitza is sitting at the top of the table. Technically tied with Shopify, but Shopify has a worse map score. Or worse series score, excuse me. No, wait, I'm sorry. Shopify went to ace, so they're 1 point ahead of Shopify. Anyways, hatch gas pool coming in from RagnaroK DRG in this game, or I should say, is DRG going? Oh, that's cool. DRG's going gasless. Wow, 19 gas. Hatch pool delayed gas. Okay, so what does this mean? It doesn't mean his speed will be delayed if that's what he still opts to go for. He should still be able to defend aggression, because it only takes 50 gas to build a Baneling nest. So if there's some sort of link flood, you can still build the Banes that you need. But I thought he was going gasless. Like going to 19 drones after building your hatch is just... It means you get your speed somewhere around 415. And when we're looking at a mirror like this, having equal... I'm sorry, RagnaroK went for that, not DRG. Having equal tech timings on important techs in the early game like this, it's kind of important. Now, of course, if RagnaroK is just going for something else, some interesting roach timing, sure, fine. But it's just going to be delayed speed. It's going to be speed that is a solid 30 seconds later than what his opponent has. Right, Ponder? I'm looking at it like this is, I don't know whether this is a mistake. Or maybe it's playing to DRG's proclivities so that we don't have a third base on the way. Oh, wait a minute. So 14... I think this may be a Lingbane Roach Flood. 18 drones are on the way. RagnaroK cutting workers at 26. +1. Oh, that's... Such a big scout here. He sees that speed is not done. He sees all the links. He's going to find his way on the main base as well. Sees the Baneling Nest. And this is forced to cancel. RagnaroK going for a really weird build, and you can't. If you're going for something like that, you cannot let the lings in. That cannot be allowed. So now lings on the other side. They're going to look to cancel this base, but I think DRG scattered it out in time. He's got more lings on the way, and certainly for right now, showing these lings is going to force RagnaroK to respond, but even still, third base is taking significant damage, and with the lack of a Baneling Nest, looks like DRG is actually just giving the third base up. He says, look, you know what? You don't have your third. It's not like you're going to take an advantage in that way. That being said, so Carapace is coming down from RagnaroK. He's got a lair on the way. This is a cool build. I don't know what it's for. I thought it might have been a mistake, but it's clear that something is mapped out for here for RagnaroK. You get a couple extra drones early. You get a 4-minute speed instead of a 3:30 speed. You don't even try to take a third base. You wall off. And then you run across the map with a bunch of Speedbane Roach or Roachling Bane. I guess that's the idea from RagnaroK. Now, of course, he's having to react because he got scouted. As actually, that's a great trade on the lings right there. Good concave. And they're going to get a surround on top of some of these only roach that's out on the map. Maybe not get a queen, though. Hey, DC Trace. Welcome. Glad you're here. The DRG 1-1 on the way, taking advantage of just the heightened mineral or the heightened gas count for less minerals because his third base is lower to just drop that into Carapace for the second Evo. But roach speed for RagnaroK is halfway done. Ew. Roach speed is halfway done. Carapace is done. RagnaroK is going to be able to hit an intensely powerful timing if he wishes. Although that being said, +1 is going to be done pretty soon here for DRG as well. Worker counts 41 to 41. Third base actually done faster for RagnaroK, but he's going for the pressure here. He's got 3 Ravagers on the way, more and more lings. So the goal of a lot of this with these Carapace lings. Now, of course, Carapace doesn't really matter anymore nearly as much because +1 is done for the roaches of DRG, so they once again 2-shot, they don't 3-shot. Your goal with all these lings is to surround the roaches, force them to not move, and then drop biles on their heads. That's the goal. That's the dream. We're going to have to see now whether RagnaroK's going to be able to make it a reality as roach speed is now done. Here comes the army, and from the backside, the surround dropping on in, and the biles on top of DRG's head. Actually, the first bile, it's only one. He has a couple more he could have dropped, but he's just waiting for the opportune moment, and the opportune moment is pretty much whenever he wants, because this is, oh yeah, there we go. Drop on down on so much of this army. Roach is piling in, but what a timing there from RagnaroK. He had us confused the entire game state, and he had DRG confused for the entire game state, but at the end of the day, it does not matter because RagnaroK, you can see him typing there to his opponent. He takes the 1-1. You only get a 1-point delta. Only get a 1-point difference. And as Alpha X going into week 9 is sitting in 3rd place, tied with a whole bunch of people. Shopify, we know they got 2 points. They're at 21 points. Alpha X would like to leapfrog them into sole possession of 2nd place. But to do that, Astrea has to do 0. Otherwise, even if they win, it's going to be 21 points each, tying themselves up with Shopify. And DBG, actually. Right? Because Shopify aced. Yeah. So DPG at 21 points, Shopify at 21 points, Alpha X wins this. They're at 21 points. Kaitsa at a solid 22 because they dominated their opponent yesterday. They kind of dumpstered the Platinum Heroes. But, I mean, shout out to Akaron for taking map off time. Not the solid 6-0 we saw from Liquid today. I know I've had people complain to me about the format for WTL. I mean, not in chat necessarily, but in general, it's like, oh, well, you know, all kill is horrible and blah, blah, blah. I actually really like the format. And I know this is not all kill, but I like this prescribed format into all kill. We saw it in Pro League as well. And going back to conversation I was having a long time ago, or much earlier this evening, in terms of time-shifted WTL casts and only being able to catch a little in the morning. Man, I grew up on satellite internet, and we had a data cap. But that data cap was not active from 3 a.m. to 8 a.m. So I would get ready for school in the mornings when Pro League was happening, and I had a little iTouch that I'd bought myself. I did not have a smartphone. I had a little track phone that had minutes on it that I could call my parents if need be, but that was about it. And I would just, for the moment I would wake up, I would roll over, see whatever Pro League was happening. I'd be watching it all through, listening to it as I take my shower, watching it as I get breakfast until I hop in the car to go to school, and then I would download the rest of the VODs off a YouTube downloader and then watch them at home that night. Man, I miss Pro League. The WTL is a good substitute, but the lack of a studio, well, I mean, there is a WTL studio, of course, but the lack of the actual pageantry of Pro League with all the teams and the team houses, oh man, I really hope. I'm not saying it's likely. I mean, Stormgate would have to explode, but I would love to see a Pro League happen again. It's happened for Stormgate. And just get the sniper builds, the prescribed builds, the pro teams, they focused on Pro League even more than they focused on individual leagues for a lot of their players. And the presence of that of how well built up the Pro League was, and all the sponsors it had and everything allowed for this two-tier system, or this multi-tiered that just supported so many pro players. So for all those reasons, I would love Stormgate to explode to the point where we could do that, or even just regional pro league. So like a North American pro league that happens out of studio in, I don't know, LA or something. As here come the Adepts into the natural, or actually the Reaper Hellion into the natural, and it's gonna get one worker, but it's gonna get two actually. So nice job there. Oh, Bunny, he does not get out. What I mean, it's a scout. Right? That's the whole point of this. His Widowmine drops are on the way behind what Bunny has, and well, what does Astrea have going for us? He's got a Robo just about done. Blink about halfway. I didn't see how many gateways he has. It looks like one. We're gonna have to see how many gateways he drops. Oh, Astrea's gonna find it now. Of course, with boost, the Stalkers are not gonna be able to kill this. At least this. Oh, actually, wait a minute. This Stalker may get the Widowmines. They burrow off. One more shot. Okay, but the Widowmines, they do get their burrow, but they don't go off. And now this, man, great positioning there from Astrea. I don't know whether the Adept saw the medevac on the other side, but knocking the medevac down early is fantastic. Because now the Stalkers of Astrea on the other side, looking to make something happen. It looks like we're actually, I'm sorry, I lied. Looks like 2-gate. Blink now done very soon, but there is a Warp Prism. So Astrea can maybe make something happen here. Oh, 3-gate, okay. There's that 3rd gate with more Stalkers warping. Widowmine looking to just run in here. Stalkers are ready, and there's an Observer. So Astrea has misclicked and just stands in a Widowmine range, which is unfortunate. Oh, Stalker's gonna get stem. There is not a lot here to defend. Auto turret gets dropped, and Auto turret just goes down. Oh man, Astrea, I understand why you rotated the way you did, but you could have had stem. Even still, he might still get it. As more Stalkers, the low ones, they blink down to the low ground. Astrea getting a lot of value here in this game. Warpins on the high ground as well. Stalkers finding so much value. 9 workers, 10 workers, 12 workers going down. Warp Prism still finding so much value. In fact, oh god, Astrea. Oh god. That was not worth it. I understand why you tried, but it didn't quite have enough time. So, medevac or Warp Prism. Wow, I'm sorry. 6 probes go down. The Widowmine finds some value, but even still, 16 SCVs have died for Bunny in this game. This medevac, though, it can get commensurate damage. Now, Stalkers, again, they find their way on in. Once again, the bunker goes down, but Astrea's going to have to blink backwards. He has to deal with the Widowmine in his natural, and it gets 4 probes. That's something. 10 total probes have died from Astrea in this game, but we're looking at about 20 probes dead for Bunny. But this does feel like it's starting to snowball. Astrea, he's still up 20 workers, and yeah, losing the probes to those Widowmines are problematic, but it's not the end of the world. Now we will see combat shields. Ooh, yeah, okay, it's going to go down off burning. SCV's not getting it pulled in time. Bunny, realistically, even if he wanted to, he couldn't afford it. So now again, Astrea with just incredible pressure. Templar Archives on the way, charge as well. No Robo Bay, just pressure. Just low tech, just building a lot more stuff. And the moment that Bunny moves on the map to try to make something happen, Astrea is going to flood in with so many Zealots, so many Archons, and say, no, you don't get to do that. But now Stalkers in the main base as well. 4 Stalkers, of course, one-shot SCVs. A couple more do go down. Astrea again. He's just oppressing. He's just playing this oppressive game against Bunny. Now, of course, at this point, Stim is done. Combat Shield's halfway done. We have +1 armor on the way. The army supply is getting to a point where Astrea can't really just be as obnoxious as he was earlier. As a War Prism has to be careful, but it doesn't need to be anymore. At this point, these Stalkers on the map, their job is to carry Bunny and delay him as long as they can when he finally decides to move on out, and well, just buy time for Storm and Charge and all these wonderful things. It looks like there is an 8 Marine drop now finding its way into the main base of Astrea here. That may necessitate a recall, but it's at the same time the Bunny is moving out, so Astrea will be distracted. There we go, dropping the main base. There's the recall on the majority of these Stalkers. 6 workers, 7 workers have gone down, but at this point the medevacs do fall, and it's just going to be a target fire. Actually, wait, this is a problem. So much target fire. Astrea hasn't pulled his probes. Astrea loses an entire mineral line. And while I'm not saying that has equalized the game, because it hasn't, it's still a tremendous problem now as more Zealots find their way into the main base. More workers from Bunny fall, but it's only 2, it's only 3. The entire army of Bunny's able to rotate back on over. In fact, the War Prism's gonna have to, just pick him up and go home. Now, of course, this does continue to buy time, and Storm is on the way. In fact, it's done in about 5 seconds, but imagine if Astrea just pulled his probes. Control-clicked him, moved him out of there. Stalkers fight Marines. Astrea's on 65, 70 workers now instead of 50. He hasn't had to spend the money replacing 15 probes. Well, he'd be an even better spot. We have it looks like about 5-6 Storms on the map right now. It was Astrea Maraud's forward. Where's his War Prism? I don't know. Auto gets dropped, and that is something at least that Astrea will respond to. Okay, so auto turret harass for the most part is done. Do we have any ghosts on the way? I don't know. I don't think there's a Ghost Academy even. So these Storms are going to be tremendously impactful if Astrea is able to hit what he wants. But again, I don't see a Warp Prism, so it's really hard for him to get on top of things. Stalkers, they blink forward, and there's still plenty of Storms where that came from. But with no real reinforcements, no ability to kind of airlift your High Templar to really get on top of the bio, Astrea's posturing, and he's 3 bases to 2. His economy's in a pretty nice spot. His tech's in a fantastic spot. Bunny, it feels like Bunny is at least, he was hanging on by his fingernails in the game, and now he's full hands on the cliff. He's not clawing. He's not head up yet, but at least he has got a nice solid grip on the cliff, and he's able to hang. He's able to hang there. Maybe, man, we're starting to see the crown of his head. He's starting to pull his way back up off the cliff. So again, the auto turret harass is really not finding all that much. Astrea continues to round out his supply, and 2 Colossus at a time. Oh, Widowmine is, I don't know what was in that. Also, is that, I wonder who's behind Astrea right now at the Foreigner House. So I do know that more foreigners are going to be joining the Foreign House after Valencia. I believe Scarlet has said she's going to be one of them. But right now, it's just, maybe no regrets there. But it's just sort of an Astrea, I think, and sort of lives with his girlfriend. It looks like a pylon went down the left side from the drop of Bunny. Yeah, Zealots. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I was like, well, you know, maybe there was enough chance that there was a High Templar drop, and that would have been really disastrous. But I didn't see the supply drop hard enough for that one. So, anyway, Stars going forward. They're going to get a medevac, and that is that. Looks like auto turret harass, finding a little bit more, but at this point, it feels like both players are kind of scrambling for damage against their opponent and just not really able to find it. Bunny's just really turtling the hell up. Storm is not really getting it. Okay. I mean, storms are a thing. There's still plenty of storms that came from, but with enhanced shockwaves done now, it's going to be a lot harder to make this happen with storms as part of the army. But here we go, storms forward. It's going to be decent. But really, the story I'm looking at is Extended Thermal Lance done right around now, and the fact that 2 Colossus are on the way at a time. I kind of want to see Astrea go up to 4. But at the very least, he will go up to 3, setting up this big concave. And now, of course, High Templar and the War Prism looking for a flank. But there's so many Widow Mines that's really hard to get the War Prism in there. Zealot's never on a forward. Stocks blink in. And this is Astrea's attempt at a break. So many Widow Mines, though. Storms drop. But, oh, man, the War Prism dies immediately. All the High Templar are dead. Even still looks like Bunny does not really have enough here. The Colossus are just firing damn strong. One of them will eventually, nobody won't. Okay, Widow Mine was going to eventually kill it off finally on the reset. But there is really nothing left for Bunny in this game. 20 workers have died. He's on 87 supply. Widow Mines are obnoxious as all hell, and it looks like there is, in fact, no detection. Wait a minute. We're good. Yeah, he drops the scan to try to make sure the observer doesn't go down. But finally, the Widow Mines will start to get cleared up here. 20 workers have died. 22 workers have died, actually. And Astrea, he just needs his reinforcements. He doesn't have a War Prism right now, but he's going to get one eventually. He's going to rally his army. I almost said his bio, but his rally army across the map. And I don't see how Bunny's going to be able to break out again. It's going to be pretty difficult. Nice blink there from Astrea as the Widow Mine does not get a shot. And more Colossus are on the way because Astrea knows that his opponent the Viking count was never great to begin with, but certainly now the Viking count is pretty horrendous. It has been reset. So Astrea 80 workers to 37, 69 army supply, nice to 30, and that is it. Astrea takes game 1. Now Alpha X. Astrea wins another one. He will go. He will secure them a regulation win, 3 points. All right, folks, because this is maybe the last game of the day, or last game of WTL. Here's what I'm going to do. We're going to hang out and talk for a little bit if there's anything anyone wants to talk about. And then I'm going to throw up probably Beyond versus Creator, because that was a fantastic series. Maybe Beyond Max Packs, I don't know. Something that is sufficiently long enough to carry us over from now, or when this is over. We'll see. Into EPT Korea, which will be happening next, because I don't want to cast for from 7 p.m. until 3 in the morning. That's 8 hours of constant talking, and I gotta keep my throat some way okay, because I'll be doing Beast Stream at the end of the week. So that's gonna happen there. And then at some point, probably before I put the VOD up, I'm going to bring the stream down for 2 minutes, because EPT does mandate a 2-minute delay, which is sad. One of the best parts of being able to do these WTL VOD casts is a delay is baked in. And at this point, it is it's about a 12-hour delay. But the delay is baked in because we're off VODs. So I can run it live and talk to all you wonderful people. And that really is the best part of it. Well, that and the fantastic StarCraft. So game 1, we saw Astrea get so much. Honestly, could have been even more, but we got so much. He got so much damage done from the Blink Stalkers. So much done. And then he said, "Okay, well, you know, let me just go into Charge Lot Storm," and that really didn't find a lot. But it did enough to allow him to develop his way into double Robo Colossus, and eventually he was just able to outstrip the tech of Bunny. So we're going to have to see what Bunny has in store for us as we find our way into game number 6 here of the matchup. Game 2 of this series. Game 2 of this best of 2. And of course, we do have to point out that, well, map 1 was prescribed. Map 1 is just default. Third series, map 1 is hardwire this week. That's just how it works. Map 2 is loser pick. So Bunny did pick Curious Minds. And by the way, folks, if you're curious, see what I did there. A friend of mine, he's about 4,800 MMR. He played Trigger. And of course he lost to him. Trigger gained 0 MMR. He lost 0 MMR. I love that. But if you look at GM, I'm sorry. That's what I meant to do. Let me pull up the map report. There we go. That's what I'm trying to do. Is adapt finds its way in. Not really getting all that much. In GM, Curious Minds, in TVP. It's actually interesting based on the server. So it's like actually Protoss is favored by about 5% on the European GM ladder, 54.7 to 45.3. On Korea, Terrans dominate Curious Minds, 62 to 37 or to 38. And Protoss again marginally favored, 53-47. I think that's interesting. I mean, are GM games wholly representative of the balance? No, not really, because there's low GM and then there's pro play. But it is interesting because it's like one of those things like, Berlingrad is really Terran favored. Well, actually, EU and North America, Berlingrad is 5% Zerg favored in ZVT. Was the Berlingrad map 1, Thorn? Am I just hallucinating? I could have sworn it was Hardmire map 1. Whatever it is, map 1 is fine. Yeah, I think it's interesting how the perception of maps, because, they're small or they whatever, XYZ, don't always match up with the performance of the maps. And sometimes pro players aren't even really aware of that. When it's here comes, it's the 3-rack stimming on in, 5 minutes with stim. And, well, an Immortal pops out, but it's going to pop out and, well, actually, Shield Battery Overcharge is a wonderful thing. The Robo will fall, though. And once stim is done, Shield Battery Overcharge is a thing. It's going to time out rather soon. And we're going to see Bunny. When Shield Battery Overcharge is complete, well, it's time for him to stim in once again. Getting on top of things, knocking down the shield battery to start. Probes are going to get pulled, and already Astrea just feels like he's taking too much damage here. Bio stimming on in. Once again, the Immortal will fall. All of the sentries will fall. 11 probes have died, and now Bunny realizing he's not going to kill the rest of this army. That's fine. 18 workers are going to go down. More of the rally are going to find everything. There's so many probes. 22 workers, and there are still probes in the natural because Astrea has overbuilt them, and that just means more may die. Valor Morgulis indeed. All men must die at some point. In this case, Astrea must die in this game. Finally, the army of Bunny was going to knock down. Am I casting without a... I am not casting with a delay right now, Thorn, because these games happened about 12 hours ago. I cast... So I'm technically, it's a 12-hour delay. If we want to talk about it like that. But no, WTL is in the morning, and the clean feed they give us has a delay baked into it anyways. And then, well, I'm casting them off replay, effectively, for the North American time slot slash the Europeans that are degen, that they keep degen gamer hours. But that was nearly game-ending. That realistically probably is game-ending damage for Astrea right now. Losing both majority of his army, a bunch of sentries and immortals, which are pretty gas-heavy, and what was it, 18 workers? Astrea can fight his way back, certainly, but it's not. It's going to be in a similar situation to the game, actually probably even worse than what Bunny was dealing with in Game 1. Where Astrea got a lot of damage early, and Bunny did a decent job of coming back, but it just felt too hard. The lift was too heavy, even as damage happened later on. If Astrea goes and he kills a lot of workers later, it's not going to be nearly as impactful. And Honestly, this drop is even a problem. Shield battery overcharge is problem. Workers are going to go down. Stalkers are doing what they can, but there are so many Marauders here that the Stalkers can't even fight this all that well. So 12 workers. The mineral line dies once again. Yeah, the medevac falls, but we're going to see a bunch of sentries fall once again. And finally, the Marauders drop, but 16 more workers are dead. Bunny rallying into the third base. It feels like we're watching a Zerg player right now. He's just swarming everywhere. Tank sieges up as well. So the third base is not going to complete. Big shots on the probe, so more of them do go down. And yeah, there's extended thermal lance charge, all these wonderful things, but look at the concave. It's set on up here. The Stalkers blink forward. The tank does not even fall. That is just it. Astrea kind of got bopped in game 2, but in fairness, he kind of bopped his opponent in game 1. Anyways, ace match happening now. Astrea and Bunny, 3 apiece. They tied up 1-1. So this is effectively a best of 3 now between Astrea and Bunny. We're going to have to see how well this works out for the man. As Bunny, he's going to proxy barracks on the other side of the map. Go for that. Go for proxy barracks for Reapers, most likely. Well, the way it works, any sort of nonprofit that is lobbying for something, at least as I was told, or the group we were working with, they legally have to be nonpartisan for what they were doing. Because they've not registered as a I'm assuming it's because they didn't register as a PAC. I don't know exactly, but legally they were nonpartisan, so any sort of partisan opinion was not allowed as part of that promotion, if that's what you're talking about. I mean, I didn't look into it super deeply. I just read the brief and said, okay, well, you know what? Voting access is something I care deeply about. And the fact that voting access is something that is seen as partisan in our country in my country, you all are from all over the world, is something that is deeply disturbing to me. But anyways, barracks going down on the third base, bunker going down. SCV does not really find the position it's looking for, so I don't think this bunker will complete. Probes are pulled. And yeah, the bunker is actually, the probe damage is going to be more than enough to knock that one on down. As the Reaper does arrive, though, eventually. And there's a second bunker. Interesting. That's not something we see all that often. Normally it's just one and done, but the SCV did not die as it normally would. So that's something as Reaper in the main base. Zealot playing ring around the Rosie. Bunny looking for some damage, but actually not getting too much value just yet. As the Reaper or Zealot on the low ground trying to get on top of this SCV, and again the bunker will not be allowed to complete. Again, the Zealot stays alive. And this proxy Reaper got 0 damage. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, Astrea keeping this probe alive for just about forever because there is no army production in Bunny's base. Yeah, that makes sense, Thorn. It's one of those things where you can say, I believe climate change exists. And as long as I don't mention a political party, we're fine. Even if the existence of climate change is also a partisan issue. But yeah, Bunny's expansion is rather late. It's because this is a proxy barracks scenario. And he did commit to double bunker that he had to cancel both of them. Theoretically, Thorn. Theoretically. But anyway. I remember in game 1, Bunny was able to dive in with the Reaper Heli and get a little bit of value, but there's a pylon blocking that one. So Reaper Cliff number 1 not getting much. Reaper Cliff number 2 though, he's gonna find his way in, and Warp Gate done just soon enough. Reaper, not gonna get all that much, not with the shield battery right there. So it's just a scout. A couple additional barracks are on the way, and well, away we go. Blink on the way first. Right, remember he got a lot of value in game number 1 off that. I think he's on, I think that's a second gate getting added. I think he's moving up to 2 gates in the wall. If there's 2 or 3 gates, we're going to have to see whether he builds a warp prism. And when I get a shot, taking a look at the main base once again. Yeah, okay. So 2 gate expand from Astrea in this game. As, again, the Reaper dives in, but this should be the end of it. One more shot at the Stalker, and there we go. Reaper is dead, but hey, living until 4:30 is a nice long life. For Reaper, get a great scout. Unfortunately, did not get nearly the damage it was looking for with the proxy setup. That is something that Astrea is going to be very happy about. Is starport on the way, stim on the way as well, and eventually we're going to see combat shields, concussive shells. So Bunny setting himself up for the pressure build. That is probably the most standard pressure build imaginable. Hellion dives in, is going to get a probe, but not before Pylon and Nexus go down, so really not getting all that much. Yeah, I mean, technically Thorn, but there's de facto law and de jure law, and that is very much de jure law. It's on the books. I'm not sure it's well, Teal Age, that's unfortunate, because first of all, that's an incredibly loaded way to talk about this. Second of all, human rights are human rights, and without getting into it too much, if you think that banning this is just going to do anything more than kill women, you got another thing coming to you. Anyways, Stalkers now, they're putting a little bit of pressure on the map. And they're going to have to back up. It is only 2 gate right now. Exactly. But okay, now, Bunny, drop here on the third base. And remember, he had a lot of value with his drops in the previous games. In fact, it almost dragged him back into that game number 1 and game number 2. It just solidified things in an extreme way. But with the Colossus sitting here defensively, we're fine for the most part. Stalkers now, with the blink, they're going to get the medevac. Oh, one more shot, but not quite enough. Not quite enough indeed. So one Marine is going to do what it can, but there's a shield battery in the main base. That medevac is, you're just going to keep a Stalker behind. You're just going to keep a Stalker behind there, and it shows up one more shot and we'll go down. So it's effectively dead supply. Astrea can be happy about that. Well, Bunny again trying to get aggressive, but Extended Thermal Lance is going to be done pretty damn soon. Charge done in 10 seconds. Astrea's building an army that, first of all, the push from Bunny is not going to be able to get too much done with. This +1 stim combat shield timing. I mean, we see Bunny here. He's getting active on the map, but he gets his third base a little bit quicker than if he was truly committing to it. And actually, Astrea now feeling comfortable enough to be active on the map with his supply lead. It certainly doesn't mean delayed forge, but with his supply lead, oh, Bunny, he's going to find... Oh, actually, ships crossing the night here a little bit. Astrea's going to find this at the end of things. We're going to have to see a recall from Astrea, I think, because that is a quad drop in the main base. Bunch of Zealots warp in to defend. Actually, no, there's a Colossus here. We're going to be fine. One tank sieges up, but the Zealots are on top of it pretty much damn immediately. And with the 2 Oh, was there a recall? No, there was a recall. So this does not get much of anything done. The tanks go down. One medevac almost falls. So Astrea feeling comfortable to be active on the map once again, and Bunny, while his third base is a little bit faster, he understands. And this army that Astrea has, he is not prepared to deal with. So triple bunker, Widow Minefield, and Astrea. The question now is whether he's going to opt to actually punch through, because again, the drop from Bunny, that's a solid 30 supply. That is not there. So Stalker's going to find a medevac. That's nice. A Marauder pops out. It's going to try to get its pound of flesh. It will kill a Stalker, but medevac is, honestly, killing the medevac is probably worthwhile for that one, because you just don't have the starport build time for the most part. You really don't. You need Vikings out to deal with this Colossus heavy army. But Astrea has already passed Colossus. He is a post-Colossus Protoss. Disruptor's on the way. +1 eventually. That's the one thing Astrea is not going to be as happy about. I mean, his economy, booming. His tech, booming. His upgrades, a little bit less. The medevac actually finds its way out? No, it doesn't. It thought to sneak out. It thought it had a chance, but no. But now, actually, this is Astrea's time to get active on the map, because Bunny's trying to take the third base, and that means the bunkers are not really there. That means the Widow Minefield is not really set on up, so Astrea's going to find this army. Bunny, Astrea's got to be careful at how he takes this fight, because the position right there did provide a lot of dead airspace. Was that a recall, or was that a lot of... yeah, I think that was a recall. So... No. War Prism died. Okay, that's what that was. But now a concave here from Astrea looking to move in once again. And disruptors are going to go on out. Well, actually, no, they're not. Astrea's holding on to his one disruptor shot for right now, but already this is a nice concave nest setup. Disruptor does fall. It took a lot of damage earlier, and now the Vikings, they run forward. Colossus, they stay alive, though. And Astrea can't punch through just yet. He's got a minor supply lead. He's up 10 workers. He's got a 4th base. But Ghosts are hitting the field soon, and Astrea realizes that he does have to transition to the next level of his tech. So 2-1 on the way. Dark Shrine, actually Warp Prism speed, which I really like. If you're going to turtle like this, and Bunny did show a tremendous ability to turtle in game number 2. Excuse me, game 1 of the previous best of 2. Getting Warp Prism speed, just finding your way into Terran bases is incredibly useful. So now the Zealots are going to find their way into the 3rd base. A couple workers will fall, but the army is here, so really shouldn't get that much done. It's not like Astrea has a multi-pronged setup right now, but part of this may be mind games where you go and say, yeah, I'm not multi-pronging you. It's okay. And you kind of lull Bunny into a false sense of security, and as Astrea's not doing that, maybe eventually you do it 5 times like that. The 6th time, you actually hit him with a massive hammer of Zealots on the right side at the same time. For now, though, Astrea getting aggressive onto this 3rd base, but of course with the Ghosts and the Vikings, it's a problem. Archon drop. Actually, I do like this use of the Archons here for Astrea, especially with Warp Prism speed. You get past the wow, what's it called? Missile turret really easily. A bunch of Zealots going to warp in as well. That's a dead Ghost. Vikings arrive, but Archons are going to be able to knock them down. And actually, wait a minute, losing the Vikings like that. Actually, the Archons or the Vikings just not being in this fight is wonderful for Astrea, but he's not really able to punch in just yet. The Archons, though, they're still here. The Zealots are still here. This is a tremendous distraction from Astrea at this point. He's got a lot of value, and now he's going to punch into the 3rd base. This is not a 4-base Terran, by the way. This is the most important mining base that Bunny does have. So now the Stalker's running for it. 16 SCVs have died. Zoning disruptors really doesn't want to get him too close because EMP plus a Stimmin does knock those disruptors down. But Astrea, he gets 16 workers. He opens up a 40 supply lead. And it buys time for a 5th base to pop up for his +2 attack to complete. There's +2 armor. Well, +2 armor is a ways away, but for more disruptors to enter the field, all this next level of Protoss power that Astrea has been looking for is now he's going to find a drop or a run by, whatever you want to call it, on the right side. So that's going to get cut down as well. And I don't even know that we have a 4th command center for Bunny. Not even just one that's not on location. I don't even think I see. Oh, okay, no, there's one. Yeah, Thorn, luckily with that, at least theoretically, constitutionally, we do have protection for interstate travel. But oh, that's a big concave for Bunny here. Well, EMP's blanket everything, so it's really hard now for Astrea to punch in on this position, but he's got the big army on the right side. He's got a big army on the right, and it's just buying time for DTs and Zealots. Although the Zealots are going to get a refinery, or the DTs are going to get a refinery. Maybe not the most important thing, but now disruptors, they're going to run on. It is Bunny getting. Oh, he does not get the splits that he needs. So much of that army does go down on the right side as well, or left side, excuse me. So much of the economy of Bunny once again falling down. Astrea, he's up 80 army supply, folks. It is looking more and more, and there we go. Alpha X. They take this game. They put themselves solidly tied, I believe, for 2nd place now. Let me look. But I believe this puts him solidly tied for 2nd place.